Hey, how are you guys? Good afternoon. Happy FOMC day. How are you? I hope that you all practice good risk management today and you did not anything too crazy. I'm not gonna stream FOMC, but we will be here to see the fireworks. I actually opened my charts right here for SPY QQQ. Let's see if we have some some fireworks here. Let's see what's happened. So all right, thank you for joining. Let's give it a second for more people to join. So tell me, guys, did you take any trade today? I was reading a lot about Amazon 5 minute opening range high, break and retest. Not sure if you took that trade or anything similar. I was actually looking at my charts, and for being honest, nothing too juicy. At least not in my playbook because I seen uh, I watched a few plays, but very isolated. I mean, very individual price action, not followed by the indices trend. So I don't know, like nothing for me at least. So let me take a look to SPY. Well, FOMC just started. Can you see? Can you see candles here? Do you want to set on the 1 minute just to just to make it more dramatic? Maybe the 5 minutes. The 5 minutes is gonna be fine. The 5 minutes is gonna be fine. Let's see what happens here. Uh, After the FOMC, we are gonna have Jerome Powell 2:30. So 20 something minutes more, and well, I love the dynamics of that presentation because there's a lot of people like, okay, well, if he's wearing a purple tie, he's bullish. If he's wearing a black suit, he's bearish. If he says hi everyone, he's bullish, but he says good afternoon, he's bearish. So there's a lot of speculation around his presentations. That I mean, I just enjoy it. It's not something that I try to trade. Uh, as you know, we don't trade the news, but we need to be aware of when they happen so we can, manage our trades or just be prepared for reactions. All right, guys. So thank you all for joining. Let me see who else just joined. So Gabriel, Joe, Raymond, Luke, Salman, Monet, uh, Alex, Bob, Sven, Dipti, Carlita, how are you? Gabriela, Ale, Ryle, Dian, and K Trades, Kernby, South Pole. All right, guys. Welcome all to today's trade review. Well, as you know, I wasn't taking any trades today. I didn't. Because I don't like price action in FOMC. Usually, and this is usually because in trading, everything works sometimes, but nothing works all the time, right? So usually with the FOMC during the FOMC weeks, the same day and sometimes 1 or 2 days before, we have awful and ugly price action. Just, uh, but I mean that's actually normal, and that's actually, I mean, you should be expecting that. I mean, if you are an investor and you have cash in your hands and you are, like planning what to do with it, it's like you want to wait after the FOMC so you can take better decisions. If you are doing it like a day before, one of two. you like casinos or you have insider information, right? Because I mean, at this time, FOMC, it's just like it's like gambling. I mean, nobody can tell what's going to happen. I mean, there's a lot of speculation about uh, the the Fed the rates cut. But last meeting, I mean, what did Jerome Powell said? We are not ready. Let's see what happens, how the tariff thing develops. So even when now Trump, it's trying to push this situation to the Fed court. I mean, the Fed is playing very neutral, so that they are just reading the market and acting accordingly. So, so if you have all of that in consideration, I mean, this is expected. I mean, just ranging, just chilling out. If you see the volume of the daily candles, they have been like very low. Again, it's expected. The big money, the smart money, they are all just waiting for what happened today. So having that in consideration, having that in consideration, we have a few moves today. For example, this Apple move, it's here. It's very dramatic. Here it's very dramatic. After this drop on Spy and QQQ, that I don't know if this was caused for any sort of news. But if you go to the 15-minute chart, you will see, oh, look, FOMC playing action right now. Look at this candle. All right. So if you go to the higher time frames, to the 15-minute chart, look at this key level here. This 561.33 key level. So this was a key level for today, because yesterday we were trying to break this level, and when we finally did it, we had this huge reaction. And if you remember, these candles were the ones when Trump met with the Canadian prime minister. That will say that the Canadian PM. So this was just some fuel to the fire, but then we had this rejection, right? So this was the actual level we were playing yesterday, 561.33. So today we had two attempts to break it, but look at these candles, look at the reaction right here. I mean, this is telling you something, right? Like 561.50, 561.33. This is the if you want to play it like this, maybe this was the level you were trying to break, and once you couldn't, this was expected. This was, well, I mean, not this candle, but this reaction here was expected. And even this candle here, again, here it looks kind of dramatic, but it's actually just retesting previous day low. If you want, if you are expecting something like really dramatic, let's it could go all the way to 541. That's the previous week low. That would be dramatic. But here, I mean, if you just zoom out, look left, that's something that I tell you guys like uh, very often here. Zoom out, look left. I mean, we are not doing too much. I mean, this 555 was a huge key level, so maybe we are just coming to retest this 555.10, this 555 key level. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, I remember this was 555.55 was my key level for, I don't remember which day, probably this one. But I was waiting for 555.55. That was just crazy. So today, I mean, we are having a huge reaction here. If you were again, if you were zooming out, looking left, you will identify this area, this key level here, this 561 something, 562. Yeah, that was the key level to break. But just because everyone was just waiting for FOMC, and we are actually, I mean, right now it's like every time the government comes and says like hey, we are gonna have amazing news, the best news in the world about something on the economy. I can't tell you what or when, but you should be waiting that. So, I mean, investors are kind of, like uh, vaccines against that by this time. So they are not buying these promises. So they are actually just waiting for government to deliver. So I just think that if you pay attention to the news, every time the government tries to do something, tries to like push some good energy to the market with just promises, it's not gonna work. They will need to deliver actual results. So again, if you are thinking as an investor, you probably could be expecting this. I mean, these candles were unusual just because they were during the meeting between the American president and the Canadian PM. But the actual level was this one, 561.33 on SPY and 483.50 for QQQ. And look at this. I mean, this is exactly what happened today. So let's try this one here also. Yeah, so that's exactly what happened today with both indices. Again, expected. So for today, guys, we had Apple. I mean, we had a few movements to the downside. So it opened. Uh, it filled this little daily gap. I mean, between the previous day close and today's open. So it actually kind of gap up like for $1 or something like that. So it was a very small gap, but it filled the gap on the first candle. So after that, it was trying to reclaim this pre-market low. I did something. I'm not sure if Mina is here, but I did something today. So I moved I renamed the tags for you guys to make it smaller. Like instead of like the huge the long version of pre-market low, I just changed it to PML. 5 minute open range low, previous day low. So it's a shorter tag, but also I moved them closer to our 11 in the morning 11 in the morning line. So I mean, we don't need to like zoom out too much. So okay, so here we had this attempt to reclaim the opening price, to reclaim this pre-market low. We couldn't and for me this was kind of a good opportunity here. It was early in the morning. This is 9:48. We had this break and retest of this is yesterday's close price. This 198.50. This is yesterday close price. And what was happening on the indices, that's the context I didn't like. So if you take a look to this reaction here, what was happening on the indices? Well, we were at the top of the range. So that's what I didn't like. Yes, it's rejecting, it's going inside of the range, but still we are on the top of the range. So that's something I didn't like. Again, if you are not looking to the indices for looking for confluences here, so maybe you took this trade here, maybe on the reclaim of this 198.23 key level. So if you have a short position here, you had your risk right at the top of this candle, and you were aiming to low of the day, let's say. Well, you should be looking for previous day low but they didn't work. So this didn't work. So maybe you were stop out right here on this 1008 candle. And the reason is because the indices, well, they were ranging, but that's exactly the time when they just broke the 5 minute opening range and started, having some sort of continuation to the upside. So the price of the indices pull the Apple price, and that was kind of the thing that made it fail uh, for this trade. So I actually like this position. I mean, again, if you are not looking to the indices as a context, you will be looking to something like this. So lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. And what will you be expecting here? Well, you will be expecting some sort of continuation to the downside. But again, it didn't work. It didn't work this time. And it was because the indices were pushing up, right? So they were pushing up here. So, okay. So let's go to the next one. I mean, I I wouldn't see this one. I mean, for those that are uh, trading patterns, maybe you watch these head and shoulders like here. So if you were trying to enter a position, you will say like, okay, well, this is my neckline. So maybe something like this. You have a huge. I mean, here. Well, obviously here everything worked, right? But when do you see this kind of drop on a tech name? That's not often, right? That's not often. However, this was kind of a nice play just because it was below the pre-market low. This was below the pre-market low. So the if you go, let's say, to the 5 minute, all right. If you go to the 5 minute, you will see that was, well, the well, this is also a nice key level here, right? I mean, if we mark something like here, we have one touch, two touches, it's support, then it's resistance, then it's support again. So this 199.40 was kind of a decent key level, right? It was a decent key level. So after this break to the downside and then this rejection right here with this head and shoulders, again, I know this is a lot of context and this is out of the break and retest. But I mean, if you are looking at this as a higher time frame break and retest of this key level, maybe it could work. But the way we do it on the 1 minute. So let's go back to the 1 minute. So I don't know. I mean, this is just. I mean, I'm just telling you how this works, right? I mean, if you are a pattern trader and you were looking at the context just right here, I mean, it's below pre-market low. So maybe if we had the EMAs, well, I don't have them here. Probably if we had like the BWAP and the EMAs, probably it's gonna be like something like here, and it was kind of a rejection and then the drop. But uh, the only chance I watched today for our break and retest strategy with the 1 minute chart, I think it was this one on the break and retest of the previous day close. And again, it was a nice rejection or the reversal on the indices. So I was expecting some sort of continuation. But here, I mean, if you are a different trader, not the break and retest um, trader, well, maybe you were looking for something like this. Um, Let me go to the chat. If it breaks 555, yeah. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I have this one 555.10. Let's see what happened. I mean, this is just the FOMC. We are also waiting for Jerome Powell. So let's see what happens later. All right. Okay. So anyone here took Apple this morning? Hey, Anians. Hey, EA. Bob, you can hear me. Kay, hey, tell me, Kay, what did you do here? I mean, what was your what you were looking here? Did you take uh, calls or puts or melee enter previous day low here? Well, that's not a break and retest. This is a breakout, right? It sounds good now. All right. Well, okay. So let's continue. Let's go to AMD. Oh, okay. Robert Parker put 942. Let me pull out this again. Put 942. All right. What was your risk? What was your risk, Robert? You got stopped right away. 940. Yeah, yeah. Maybe you were trying to do something like this, and your risk was this, right? Maybe something like that. Tight risk. Yeah. Andy, same. I entered 943. 943. 943. Yes, exactly. Okay. So again, if you were just looking at the price action here, if you were just looking at the price action here, yes, this is a nice break, displacement and retest of this 1 minute and 5 minute opening range. However, uh, oh, I'm just laughing because yesterday my wife was giving me feedback about the streams, and she said like that I say too much. However, I like singing. So, however, if you see the context on the indices, they were on the top of the range. So the only thing that could help your trade, thank you, Dipti. The only thing that could help your trade is if indices fail to break this level. But as you can see, I mean, it is struggle, but it actually broke, right? It actually broke, and then it rejected on a few candles later. But what happened here? Well, again, the indices were pulling your price up, right? They were or pushing up or pulling on the same direction that the indices. So that's why I like. I mean, on my playbook, and again, this is very particular to my personality, to my style. I like to ride the trend on the indices and then choose a name that is going with the trend. And right here, we are kind of the opposite, right? Like, I mean, Apple is going down, but the indices were going up. So this is a difference between this name and the indices. So that's why I wouldn't like this. And maybe here, I mean, here we have more context because here the indices were actually rejecting, and we were having an impulsive candle to the downside. So maybe here it could be like a better chance for here. But even here, right? I mean, this also failed. Why? Because the indices again, they have continuation to the upside. So what happened with the Apple price? Well, it didn't have continuation here. All right. So let me go to AMD. So AMD, we were looking to AMD. We had earnings last night. Yeah, we had earnings. Yeah, we had earnings last night. We had this huge candle to the upside, but then we had all these way back to to actually lower. So you can see here the difference. I mean, yesterday's close was 98.64. Today's open was 176. So $2 of difference between yesterday close and today's open. So this was not like a huge gap up, or like something very positive here. So we had these impulsive candles to the upside and this rejection here, and this rejection here was on the pre-market high. Yeah, this one 103.44, 103.44. This is the pre-market high. So we actually never reclaimed the pre-market high, and then we had this drop. So this drop, I was actually looking at this drop, and I like it, but as I said, I was hands off my broker today, so I was not taking any trades today. But if you can see this break and retest of a lot of things. So this is the 1 minute and the 5 minute opening range. This is also the previous week low. This dotted green line, it's the previous week low. But again, what was happening with the indices? What was happening with the indices? They were on top of the range. They were on top of the range. So this divergence, or this difference between the trend on the indices and the name, made me hesitate about this. And also, I mean, because it was 10 in the morning, so IB was still very high. I don't remember how much, but I remember this was still very high. Even when this, even with this drop, I mean, I will expect that this drop actually killed the IB, but it didn't. It didn't. I was paying a lot of attention, but guys, I like to trade AMD, so I was paying a lot of attention here, but it didn't work. So if you were looking for some sort of trades here, let's say this break, displacement and retest of the 5 minute opening range low, previous week low, and this is, what is this? Well, this is previous day high. Well, this is previous day high, but anyways, I mean, so previous week low, previous day high, 5 minutes of range low. So I like this. So as you can see, I wouldn't take my trade right in this first candle. I was waiting for more confirmation to the downside. So let's say that you take your trade here on this 9:59 well, this 10 a.m. candle, and your risk was at the top of this retesting candle, or even a little bit more. Let's say, yeah, 130, and you were looking for this, filling this gap. So this 98.63, this is a 1 to 3.3 risk reward ratio trade. And actually, just because of how the price reacted here, I think you could easily take it like to here, maybe 98.50 probably. So anyways, I mean, this was a 1 to 3 something risk reward ratio trade. I actually like it, but again, the indices were doing something very different than this name. And as you can see here, guys, I mean, this is something for all of you that are following how we trade here. I mean, this is textbook market structure. So can you see lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and when it actually broke the structure or change of character until here. I mean, here we created a higher high, yes, a higher high and then a higher low. All right, so what was expected then? Here, continuation to the upside, and I mean, it failed, and it came to for this previous day low again. But what I want to tell you is this market structure is telling you not to cut your trade until probably here. But by here, you already have a good bunch of your trade above the 1 to 5 risk reward rated trade. So this could be an amazing trade. Again, this is not in my playbook just because it's against the indices trend. But if you were looking for something like this, I mean, this is something that you can have. And here, I actually like this just because of the risk. Let me tell you why. So this is the break and retest of the pre-market low, this pre-market low at 99.30. And what was happening on the indices? They were actually rejecting high of the day. They were actually rejecting this zone that we talk on the higher time frame. This white box here. Can you see how indices are recovering now? Uh, I mean, don't take the victory yet. It's I think Jerome Powell is just walking to the stage. So let's see what happens with Jerome Powell here. We will be watching closely this, right? So just because we were paying a lot of attention to this key level here, I mean this area of interest here on both indices, we could be expecting reaction here or even the rejection here. So that's why this point it's actually making more sense than the previous one, because here, I'm sorry, here this was a downtrend with the indices uptrend, but here this is continuation of the move to the downside on this AMD, but also it's exactly the area where I'm expecting indices to have a reaction. I mean, I wasn't expecting like the drop, but I was expecting the reaction. So if we can't break this, like we couldn't, I was expecting the indices to drop, not this drop, of course. I mean, at least I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, oh well, I already did, I already knew about this. No, no, no. I mean, I was expecting reaction here, just like we did here, right? Like, can you see all the consolidation on this area? The same thing on QQQ, but then what happened? I mean, it was getting late on the day, and what happened? Well, sellers finally did it, right? Sellers dropped the price, and for me, this was kind of uh, an exaggerated move, but I mean that's SPY, so it's this is usual for SPY, right? And then what happened here? What happened here? So we were having a huge drop on the indices, and what was happening with AMD? It was just holding, 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 holding. Look at this drop on the indices, and what happened with AMD? It was just holding here. So even when here we had this nice drop, I mean this is very small risk, and you have this 1 to 2 point something risk reward ratio trade. I mean, again, look at the drop on the indices and what was happening on AMD. Nothing, just consolidation, and it actually just jumped out from this level. And well, later in the day, they drop a little bit more, but on this drop of the indices, it didn't do anything. So these are the only two opportunities that I saw in or I watched on AMD. Anyone took AMD today? Like, you want to share if you did something here? No. Can you see, guys, my Tesla cup? I'm a big Tesla fan. I mean, I'm a shareholder, and I'm also a Tesla owner. But I don't trade Tesla too much. All right, so let's go to Amazon, and this is the trade all of you were talking about. Yes, I really like it. Well, my favorite names to trade are AMD and Amazon, and actually Amazon more than AMD, but the AMD has been offering more opportunities lately, at least the last semester that we were killing it. But I really like Amazon. I think Amazon owes me something just because all of the money that my daughters and my wife spent on it. So I need to squeeze Amazon in a way. So this is my chance to do it. So here we have this nice break, displacement and retest of the 5 minute opening range. And something that I like it a lot is the sorry is this candle here. I mean, it's not a super long wick to the downside. But anyways, I mean the body of this candle, it's actually holding this 5 minute opening range. And the next candle, an impulsive move to the upside. So let's say that you took your trade on the next candle closure here. It's a 187, and you had your risk at the bottom of this candle, and you were aiming to high of the day. So look at this nice trade here. This was alone a 1 to 2.6 risk reward ratio trade. But look at the price action here. Look at the price action here. You could even wait. I don't know, guys. I mean, for me, you should not be. You should not. I mean, you should not be selling anything until here. This was a 5.4 risk reward ratio trade. And the only reason I will start selling here, it's because this candle is actually closing below the previous one. So this is what we call bar by bar. So if you have, if I mean, like this one, I mean, even if you have a red candle here, if it's not closing below your previous candle, you just stay on the trade. So here, for example, this candle closed below the previous candle here. So maybe you don't sell your whole position, but you start selling, right? Like, okay, well, what's going on? But I mean, after all of these green candles, even with this red candle, I wouldn't sell anything, because this is normal. I mean, this is expected. You cannot expect price to go parabolic, right? Like, I mean, you need the move up, and then some breather, and then another move to the upside, and then some breather. So this is the usual market structure. So here I wouldn't sell anything. I mean, probably some contracts here, but I will be waiting for the reaction here, because it was expected to have some breather here, some kind of bounce relief here, but it actually didn't. So we had the next candles here pushing up. So this was an amazing trade. And what was happening? What was happening on the indices? So again, that's the only thing that I didn't like. The indices were at the bottom of the range. So QQQ was actually bouncing from the pre-market low. Can you see here? Let me use the circles. So yeah, this is the candle. No, this is the candle. It's 952 candle. So we were bouncing from the pre-market low. We said 952, and SPY was bouncing from the opening price. So again, if you are using like support resistance kind of reference, this is something that may work well. I'm looking for the tax. So this is something that might work well, but again, I like to be on the top of the range on the indices when I'm in the top of the range with my ticker. So when it pulls back on the indices, my name also pulls back, and then have continuation with the indices. But this is so clean. This is so clean that not sure who took this. Who took Amazon? Deep T, Tesla or Elon Musk. You know what? I I'm a fan of Tesla because I also own a clean energy company. So I mean I have my heart on all these solar energy storage things. So Tesla, it's kind of a company that I like a lot. But also all of the other companies of this guy, I don't like Elon Musk too much. Uh, but I like what he's doing, and I dreamed with the idea of like having humans on Mars. That's something funny, but I mean, it's something that I'm excited about. Okay, so Ale, how did you skip the pre-market high entry into Amazon 948? 948. Well, I mean, it's do you remember? I don't. I mean, I do use the pre-market levels as a reference, but I always say that I kind of trust more into the intraday levels, like the 5 minute upper range or the or like previous highs. But yeah, I mean, this is a good entry. Well, I don't know. Well, it's 9:47. We had this good retest next candle here. What was going on the indices? Well, 9:48. Well, Ale, I mean, they are just breaking. Uh, they are just having the breakout on the range. Yeah, I mean, I like it, but again, it's a divergence. It's a divergence between the indices and the name, right? Because the name it's actually pulling back, and the indices are actually breaking out. So maybe that divergence it's something. But again, when using the pre-market high and the pre-market low, I mean, yes, I like them, but it needs to be like more representative the move. I mean, here it's kind of shy. Uh, I don't know. Well, I mean, maybe I'm just making excuses, but if you think this was okay, the actual the next I don't. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know how the next candle to this actually behave. If this because I see a red candle here, but I don't know if it opened to the upside. So here it will be like a nice try, right? Like when if it opened to the upside, like maybe try this one, right? And your risk will be I don't know, like maybe this bottom here, and you were just well, the thing, this is the other thing, Ale. I mean, you should be looking to have at least this 188.66. Did you have that, or what was your target? Because if you don't have a target like right here, it's I mean it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell uh, how you can measure your risk versus your reward. So because here, I mean, if you enter here, let me move this. If you enter here on this candle, again, your risk will be at the bottom of the previous candles, or maybe the bottom of these candles that actually broke the level. So let's say you have your risk here. You should be having something like 1 to 2 risk reward rate to trade. And if you didn't have this key level here, I mean, I don't know what will be your target. So Monet, I took 940, 940, 940. Why 940, Monet? What was that? An immediate retest of the pre-market high? Ale, I personally think I would like to see a deeper pullback after a huge pop but technically pre-market high kind of work. Yeah, Chen took this one. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, so if you if you had if you had this one, that was a, again, it all depends of how this candle work, right? uh I don't want I don't want to do the replay, but I mean, it all depends on how this next candle work. But yes, if it opened to the upside, probably that was a nice one. Just the thing that I didn't have, like, I mean, my only clear target will be this one, but then it's not a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio trade. Can you see here? Even if I take it like here, like, okay, well, let's use this, the bottom of this candle. Even if I take it here, it's a 1 to 1.5 risk reward ratio trade. So if you tell me, well, I know I have this 189 or 190, okay, well, then this work, right? But just because this was a shy reaction here, and the indices were just breaking out of the ranges. I don't know, like, I don't it just I don't like the context, right? It's just I don't like the context. And is this is a cleaner, can you see this is a cleaner, it has very decent displacement, and the retest, it's so clean here that we were talking about how this candle actually has a wick to inside of the 5 minute range, and the body just respecting this key level, and then the next candle, it's just, look at this, it doesn't have a wick to the downside, it's just everything to the upside. So the reaction here in the 5 minute opening range was strong. So this is a move that I like it just more. Uh, and then after that, guys, I don't see anything. Then after that, look at it. And this, if you were aiming just to high of the day, this was a 1 to 2.5 risk reward ratio trade. So this trade actually makes sense between your risk and your reward. So it's not just about, okay, well, it actually made a retest here. Well, yes, but what you were aiming to here, I mean, in case you enter like here, what you were aiming here, you should be aiming to something like this. And if you didn't have this key level here, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you were looking at, right? Yeah, this was a key level on the 15-minute chart that I have. Okay, what is the white line above that you have near the 5 minute opening range high? Um, well, it's this one. It's 187. Yeah, 186, 187. It's I'm sorry. 187. It's this key level from Monday. Let me take out this. All right. So Monday we had this 186.92, 186.92. Can you see? It was the support. It was support the whole day, and then yesterday it was resistance, right? So we were talking about this key level on different names. So this 186.92, or let's say this 187, was a key level on the 15-minute chart. So again, that's what you need to do. I mean, if you have good key levels for your chart, you may be aware of different things, right? Okay, well, this is something relevant. So this 187.92 work as support and resistance on the previous days. So probably this could be like a way better key level for you, right? No. All right. So is it is it a pivot point? Yeah, I mean it's a key level on the 15-minute chart. All right. So and here, well, when we came back to this, it was after this huge drop on the indices. So just for you to know, guys, when I see a drop like this on the indices, I just stop trading because nothing is gonna be clear. Everything is gonna be very suspicious now. So I wouldn't take a trade after this drop. Not even to the downside, because I mean, yes, you can see here some retests on the pre-market low, on the 5-minute opening range low. But what was happening on Amazon? Well, it was actually above the previous ranges, right? It was actually holding previous day high. So yeah, so again, I wouldn't trust any other movement after this drop. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Nvidia. So Nvidia, again, this was kind of ranging again between the 5-minute opening range, and we had this break and retest of the 1-minute opening range high. And what was happening here? Yeah, what was happening here? So on this retest, the indices were actually holding the previous high of the day. We were holding this. All right. So on this reaction here on the 1-minute opening range, look how they were holding here. Can you see? This is the same candle actually. What I don't like from this, and I'm gonna be completely honest, what I don't like from this is, take a look at the size of the move on the indices. Look at the huge reaction on this order block from the previous high of the day. And here it's actually, I mean, retesting the 1-minute opening range high, but I mean, technically it's inside of the 5-minute opening range, right? So and it was 10:23 in the morning. So again, this is low risk. This is low risk. This is a low risk trade because I mean, you can identify easily your risk here and your reward to the high of the day. But look at this. I mean, after these few candles here, I'm making a mistake. Let me did it well. This entry is actually here, but on the indices is the same thing. It was actually bouncing out of this order block. Okay, so it's kind of the same idea. It's kind of the same thesis, but we had this impulsive move to the downside. We were retesting the same key level, but we never closed below this bottom of this candle that was the one that actually retested the 1-minute opening range. So that's why you should be stay stayed on this trade, and it was all the way up to high of the day. So if you took this trade to the high of the day, it was a 1 to 2.5 risk reward ratio trade. Again, what I like from this is that the indices are actually respecting market structure here, right? They are respecting this order block created on the previous high of the day. Do you remember we talked yesterday about the order blocks? How I like more the order blocks on the actual pivot points than a random candle in the middle of a trend. Well, this is a good example here. So this is a good example here. So I don't like this candle as an order block here, even if this touches, right? But I like more the, okay, well, this is the high of the day, it reverses here. Well, this is a nice order block here. This is a nice order block that is also resistance, right? So this is the order blocks that I like. So okay, so here, anyone took a trade on Nvidia? Today was not the day. Today was not the day to do crazy stuff. But if you did, if you did, I hope you had a good day. So again, look at the drop on the indices. Not trade today. Good job, Shaman. Uh, so look at the drop on the indices right here. It was 10:46 in the morning. We had this drop here, and with the consolidation on the indices, what happened actually with Nvidia? Boom. I don't know if we had news here. Probably yes, right? Because this is a huge move to the upside. But look, after the huge drop on the indices here, it actually held the pre-market low and the daily gap. This was the opening price. Yes, this was the opening price. So it held the pre-market low opening price after this huge drop on the indices. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take these trades here just because of this movement on the indices, but this is something. I mean, this is something relatable, right? I want you to see how the names react to the indices because that's very important for you guys. When you start back testing, when you start getting to know a ticker that you want to trade, this is the things that you start noticing, right? Okay, how my ticker is reacting to news, how my ticker is reacting to the indices, how my ticker is reacting to the 10 a.m. candle, how my ticker is reacting to other names, how my ticker is reacting to some days. I mean, my ticker works on Fridays, my ticker works on Monday. So this is the kind of information that you should be looking to get to know the tickers that you want to trade and start building your edge on it. All right. So let's take a look to SPY and QQQ. Well, after this huge drop, now we actually recovered everything. But can you see where SPY is rejecting? Guys, this is not magic. I mean, this is just awareness of the key levels, right? This is just awareness of the key levels. So it's rejecting this 562, 562. And let's see what it does. If you take a look to QQQ, it's actually looking not so good. I mean, lower highs, lower lows. Is it gonna create a lower low here? Let's see. All right, so Nvidia, let's go to Tesla. What happened to Tesla? Not too much here. Tesla was the opposite to the indices. That's why I wasn't looking too much at it. Uh, After these movements here, can you see? Well, it was dropping nice with the indices, but then it consolidated on the bottom of this range of the 5 minute opening range, while the indices were actually climbing up. They were climbing up, but Tesla was not reacting here. Suddenly here, Tesla kind of reacted and went almost to the to the top of the range, but it was not too much. And with the indices drop, Tesla had a huge drop with the indices. So After looking this price action here, this is looking very weak. We are below the pre-market low. We are below the 1 minute and the 5 minute opening range. We cannot reclaim the previous day high. So this is weakness for me. So once the indices show weakness on the key levels here, once the indices show weakness on the key levels here, what happened with Tesla? Well, it dropped like a rock. And very unfortunate, but I don't see where they could offer a new entry, maybe like this order block here. Yeah, no, for me, it didn't offer any good chance to enter. Not even this. I mean, this was 11:30, so this is not my usual trading hour. But anyways, I mean, this is how weakness start looking on this name. Even when the indices were now consolidating and again climbing up again. And what happened to Tesla? Well, it remained on the bottom of the range. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Anyone took a trade in Tesla? Um, I cannot remember. Someone on the chat said Tesla. No. All right. Well, let's go to the next one. Microsoft. Well, again, nothing too much. Can you see? I mean, it's a huge range, but it's a range. It's an ugly range, but well, that's what happened on FOMC, and Google. I don't know what happened with Google. I really don't know what happened with Google. I will be looking for news here, but it went from 163 to 150. I mean, that's a 10% drop. Yeah, well, right now it's an 8% drop from the opening, but that's huge. That's huge in a day. So okay. So here we have some news. Alphabet stock dropped 6.9% to 152 after an Apple executive's testimony in a DOJ lawsuit, citing reduced search queries on Apple browsers due to AI search. All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, now you understand this, right? Um, and this is because people thinks that this lawsuit is gonna work. So this is bad news for Alphabet. This is bad news for Alphabet. All right. So that was Google, and what happened with Meta? Meta, nothing. Well, nothing too much, right? I mean, ugly price action. Again, today was not the day to look for incredible price action. So I hope Neto it's 562 on SPY and order block on the 15-minute chart. 562, 5. Yeah, it is. Look at this. Do you remember I was telling you when it pivots? Well, it pivots here. And I mean, guys, zoom out, look left. 562 is a very relevant key level now. It has been for many days. It has been for many days. So if you want to long SPY, you need to wait for this break and hold of 562, right? Uh, okay, so guys, thank you very much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this boring trade review of ugly price action for FOMC days. Oh, I have some news for you. I have some news. Mina, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Saman, wait a minute. I will be making some changes on the schedule of this trade review. So starting next Monday, instead of 2 p.m. Eastern time, it's gonna be moved to 1 p.m. Eastern time. I know some of you still will be trading or like the lunch break while trading, but this is gonna help because we do have some other activities on the communities. Sorry if this change is messing with your schedule, but I have been asking. I have been asking some of you, and most of you are actually better with this new change of 1 p.m. So I hope you keep joining the session. uh, but because I really like and enjoy all of your questions and all of your interaction. So just for you to know, I'm gonna make the announcement on all of the communities in a few hours. But I mean, you have the premiere. So these trade reviews with Neto, they are gonna be moved to 1 p.m. Eastern time. So thank you very much, guys. Oh boy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, my friend, but you can always watch the recording. All right. So thank you very much, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.